What's up, Padlords? It's your god, Lightwater here, coming at you with another video. And today, we're going to be going over Holy Priest and how to heal in Mythic Plus. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over talents first. So for 5-man, things are a lot different than Raid. Mana efficiency is not as important as reaching a certain threshold of HBS. You're trying to clear the Mythic Plus dungeon as quickly as possible, and so you're sort of running ahead, constantly drinking, getting your mana back. So you're not looking at things from a healing per mana spent perspective so much as you are just what it takes to get the job done, right? So that's why I generally, for the first row, take Trail of Light. Now, the reason for this is Holy Priest are one of the weakest single target healers in the game for Mythic Plus. We struggle super hard to keep the tank up. And I'm pretty much forced to go a Trail of Light build where I spam Flash Heal nonstop. I mean, there's not really any alternative in this talent tree or in your kit. Like, it's pretty much the only option you have. So you can't really take the 10% more mana, and Enduring Renewal is garbage. Refreshing Renew is pretty much useless because Renew only does 10k healing. And you're probably going to get Renews from Benediction anyway, so that's pretty much garbage. For the rest of this row, unfortunately, you're forced to pick between survivability by basically increasing your health and healing done, or reducing the damage you take, versus the feather, which is movement speed, right? I pretty much always take the feather. Here's the reason. You lack mobility. You are the least mobile healer and probably, honestly, caster in the game. And Mythic Plus requires you to move out of things. Go figure. And not just to move out of things, but move out of things quickly and get to a new save spot to start healing very quickly. Survivability, I feel like pretty much you won't need Perseverance and Angel's Mercy if you're probably dodging things, and you'll dodge things with Feather. So Feather's the universal, it's just a must. This next row doesn't really matter too much. I pretty much always take Cosmic Ripple. It's a decent chunk of healing. And the other ones just don't really make much sense. Like Afterlife increase the duration of your Spirit Redemption by 50%. You don't really want to be dead, so that's kind of weird. Unless you're using it to cheese. But typically, if you're trying to die anyways, it's to do skips, and so you can masterize everybody. So who cares about the duration of your Afterlife? Guardian Angel. Typically, when you GS somebody, you're kind of expecting them to die. So again, this is probably gonna save GS is probably gonna save you or somebody else from a one shot. So having it like this talent essentially is useless then if you actually use your GS. So next row, go ahead and pick whatever you want. I always go Censure. I like having a stun. It's reliable. It can't get broken with damage. Obviously, during Sanguine Week, you could take Shining Force. But that's sort of up to you, and I would advise that you maybe have this planned with somebody else. Maybe hopefully there's like a druid who throws on a vortex, and you Shining Force, and essentially you vortex them to another area. We've done some pretty sick combos with vortexes and typhoons and whatnot before. And obviously you can reduce your cooldown of your fear. Fearing in 5-man isn't exactly advised. You can certainly use fear as almost like a healer cooldown because it can stop some damage on your tank for a bit, but I just typically go Censure. Okay, so for the next row, you pretty much have to go Surge of Light, and here's my reasoning for it. Binding Heal will not cut it. It's interesting to have Binding Heal for the AoE situations, but we're all about single target healing. And because we're all about single target healing, you're with spamming Flash Heal, you're gonna go without Surge of Light. And Surge of Light gives you mobility because it gives you instant flash heals, and you get these instant flash heals quite a lot. Like the Surge of Light procs quite often, and it can proc off a lot of things. It can proc off Smite, it can proc off you casting a Renew on the move, off anything, right? Circle of Healing is very, very tempting, and it's decent healing. It's got a bit of a rough cooldown though, because with average haste, it's only going to be like a 13 or something, 12 second cooldown, with like a lot of haste. It's a decent chunk of mana, But again, that's not really a big issue. I don't know. Circle of Healing is okay. The problem is you just need single target healing. And Circle of Healing is okay because it is instant. You can use on the move. So I would suggest either Surge of Light or Circle of Healing. I prefer Surge of Light because it gives me more single target healing. For the next row, Halo is way too risky to cast ever. Like, you can't get this thing off in a dungeon without pulling everything. All the dungeons in Mythic Plus right now in this expansion are super tightly built. And pretty much Halo will pull everything in the entire world. Divine Star is a weaker version of Halo, and it just doesn't do any numbers. That's the problem. I think on my priest it heals for like 3.5k, so 7k because it goes there and back. 7k when your tank has like 200k life, what's 7k? Like, who cares? When your DPS have over 100k life, like 7k is it's not cutting it. It's not good. Benediction seems like the obvious choice. You should be palming on cooldown basically, and you should be refreshing your palms. So when AoE damage, which it is rare, but when it does come out, essentially you'll have all of these sort of nuts saved up for the winter, so to speak. You'll have all these like palm stacks just built up slowly on your group, and then when those start bouncing around, they'll actually put renews on everybody. Benediction also helps you kind of constantly keep a renew on the tank without having to actually spin the mana to cast the renew. It's not so much that Benediction is good for 5-man because I think it's pretty trash. It's that these are god awful. For the level 100 row, this is probably the closest row out of all of them. You could literally go any of these, and I'll talk about the difference of playstyle. So Light of the Naru is the passive choice. You're going to constantly expect it's a smoother ride. You're going to get a lot more Serenities and Sanctifies over the course of the fight. But there's no burst, right? I default to Light of the Naru because I find that it's trash packs that are the most deadly and long boss fights. And I just want to get a lot more Serenities up. And with Light of the Naru, I can actually get like 2 or 3 Serenities up if I'm spamming, Trail of Light, Flash of Lights, or Flash Heals really, really often. So, if you're somebody who likes cooldowns more so, then you can go Apotheosis, 20-second duration, 2-minute cooldown. It's essentially Light of the Naru, except, in cooldown form and more intense, right? So, it'll increase the cooldown reduction of your holy words by 300%, so from 6 to 18 seconds, I believe. So that's not bad. And it obviously reduces the cost that you'll be spending on them by 100%. Again, I actually think these are dead even. Holy Word Salvation. So this is God tier in raid, but in a 5-man, it's not too good. Obviously, in a mythic raid, it's going to have 4 times the value. So it's not exactly too good here. However, it is a cooldown, which is what priests kind of lack. It is a lot of mana cost, though. And it does take a lot of time to cast. And it does have a really long cooldown. So I probably wouldn't suggest it, because you're not going to be able to get this thing off too much. And it feels really clunky. However, it does heal for quite a bit, and it would apply Palm. And if you're running Benediction, most likely all of those palms will probably at least turn into a couple of renews. So it's certainly not that bad. But like I said, I'm just leaning on Light of the Naru because it's the obvious single target HBS increase choice. Everything I do is based around increasing single target HBS. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Azerite gear right now. And I'll kind of go over which ones I think are the best. So a lot of these are decent for raiding, but a lot of them aren't very good for 5-man healing, right? So for example, Word of Mending, decent raiding one, horrible 5-man mythic plus one, right? Prayer Mending heals for a little bit more, and reduces the cooldown of Sanctify by 2 seconds every time you cast it. Like, that really doesn't do anything for you. It's not going to help your single target healing at all. Sacred Flame is kind of interesting. Makes it to where Holy Fire does additional damage instantly and restores mana. Again, you'll only ever use that in raid, and I'm not even sure if you're going to use it. It seems really weird as a Holy Priest, so you're not going to be using too many Prayer of Healings, so this isn't too good. Okay, so you hardly ever cast Heal, because Heal is so slow, and when you're not casting healing spells, you should be casting damage spells. And then when it does come damage out, usually it's so hard and so fast, you have to respond with really quick spells, like, I don't know, Flash Heal, for example. And you've already sunk so much stuff into it with Surge of Lights and Trail of Lights that your flash heals are now quite good. So I find Binding of Fate to be kind of meh. Essentially, every time you cast heal, it also heals you for 8% of the value. The heal restores an additional 941 health. Sorry, I've been up all night. I shouldn't be yawning, but it is what it is. Okay. Blessing of Sanctuary just makes it to where your holy word Sanctify heals for an additional amount. The Echo of Light from it. This is pretty solid, but again, you're not going to be getting too many Sanctifies off on a 5-man. Heal restores an additional health based if you're missing mana. You shouldn't be missing that much mana, and you shouldn't be casting heal in a 5-man, so this doesn't work. What does that leave us with? Literally one useful Azerite trait that's from your class, and it's Permanent Glow. And this is actually very good. So the placeholder number for this particular example is 515, but Flash Heal increases the healing of your flash heals on that ally by 515 for 6 seconds. Now, this is very good because you spam so many of these, and it works really well with Surge of Light. And essentially, if you cast pretty quickly, you can keep this buff up on like 3 people in your party, so you can quickly kind of, during stressful times, tab between members of your party. You get a flash heal, you get a flash heal, you get a flash heal. And I'm not exactly sure, but I think it has pretty decent synergy, if not double dipping, with Trail of Light. Because you have to think. So you put the buff on somebody, then you go to the next person, you heal them. Then the Trail of Light would heal the person who has the buff, and so maybe that would double dip. I haven't really been able to figure out or confirm it because it's kind of confusing, because the amount that it increases the flash heal by is like not proper anyways. Like, it says it increases it by 751, but it's really like 1,000, and so I'm not exactly sure why that is. I have some versatility. I have some leech. I don't really know why it's like not doing the proper number, but I do think maybe there's something to Trail of Light and Permanent Glow. But yeah, that's your only single target increase. So I'm gonna go over stat weights a little bit right now. Let's see. Also, a lot of the Azerite traits that give secondary stats are pretty good. If you have to go one of them, I suggest going Crit and Mastery, because those are your 2 best stats. So like we're talking about like stuff that increases your mastery, like Inciting Roar or something, the mastery thing buff. Then there's the Swirling Sands one. I think I have Blightborn Infusion, so that's not bad. Increases your critical strike chance, right? That has pretty decent uptime. So those you'll just have to experiment on your own and see what the uptimes are. Okay, so for stat weights, this is typically my stat weights for a 5-man. So we'll go from left to right here. So critical strike, this pretty much won't change. It depends on how much crit you get, but this is the base value of crit. It's not bad. Crit is your second best stat. For 5-man's, haste is very good. For raiding, haste is gone awful. So you're not probably going to have a lot of pieces with haste on it that are really high item level from raid. And you don't really want to be itemizing haste from 5-man loot to bring to raid, because it won't translate over. So it's kind of one of those situations where you're going to need to collect two sets of gear. You're going to have a haste set for Mythic Plus, and you're going to have a Crit Mastery set for raiding. So that's just how it is. Your value of haste in raiding is probably 0.5. But like I said, your value of haste for Mythic Plus is probably 1.47, which is the base per 100 haste. Intellect, this will go down as you get more and more intellect. Leech is normally at 2.5. I dropped it to 2. Mastery is pretty high up there, as you can see. So Mastery is basically your best secondary stat. And versatility here at the tail end. Okay, so essentially, Leech and Intellect are amazing. After that, you want Mastery. Eventually, once you get to about 350 item level, Intellect is going to teeter off, and you'll probably want a lot more haste and crit for healing 5-mans. Now, remember, haste is basically useless in raid because you don't have any hots or any abilities that scale with haste. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and so let's go ahead and go to the gameplay now. Okay, so here we go. I have some footage from earlier today. I don't exactly know what part of the video this is, but we'll go ahead and watch it on 2x speed here, and I'll kind of try to go over some of the things I see. Okay, so this is my tank Volt here. He's a Death Knight. Now, I don't know if it's just Death Knights or if he was undergeared, but I don't think he was undergeared personally. I just think tanks this expansion get rickrolled, but you'll notice there's just a lot of tank healing to do here. And okay, so there we him there. Good time to him. The ripple came off cooldown. I have no idea if this is going to be embarrassing, by the way, if this is a good showing or not. I just picked a random section and the streams from earlier, by the way, guys. Okay, so you see it's just a lot of flash healing, and so that right there is the Surge of Light proc. There's Cosmic Ripple, and it's just flash heal, flash heal, flash heal, and you just constantly like, yeah, prayer mending. You just constantly like kind of hit the things that keep popping up. Oh, I think I'm talking about the Azerite Trait right now. Yeah, I'm with a group of very edgy memers, so we are having a fucking blast, even though I don't look like I'm having a blast. Well, I guess I can, I could show you, but it's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some things. So I don't know why I keep looking at my towns. Wow. Yeah. Oh, I'm linking Permanent Glow. Yeah, I was trying to see if someone knew if that stacked. Yeah, I'm kind of just saving Serenity, waiting for the tank to dip. I felt that the tanks dip so much here that I would rather spend more mana just spamming Flash Heal and save the Serenity for like really scary moments than actually just use it. So there. Sometimes it's better just to use your Holy Words on cooldown so you can get the Cosmic Ripple, kind of pulses later on, than rather just like having a solid one. See that? So that was some pretty good spamming. So see the tanks. Oh, this is about to be a shit show. I'm pretty sure. I think Volt pulls everything in the whole dungeon here. But yeah. So I'm just kind of going around, and so there's the Trail of Light action you're seeing there. As I pick a different target each time with Flash Heal, right? So I still heal him, I switch to him, and I just keep rotating, right? And so that keeps the flash. That is basically one of two things, right? So it spreads the Trail of Lights out, and your Mastery heals out, okay? And then also it maintains that buff that I was talking about, right? On the Azerite gear, the 6-second buff on all of the members, right? So that's really important, because as long as that buff's on them, you're going to heal for 2k more per flash heal. That's a pretty big deal. And then that's going to obviously get multiplied by your mastery, and so, yeah. You'll see these Surge of Light procs are just honestly really handy, like constantly throughout the dungeon. I'm in a pretty good habit of always moving when I get a Surge of Light proc. So see there, I use the feather, I get over to the flash. I want to say we were having a lot of fun and I trolled somebody. Ooh, okay, I stood in the bad there. It was inside the swirl, I didn't see it. Let's see if we can get to a more exciting part in this dungeon. Maybe I can talk a little bit more about what we're doing. So yeah, just constantly flash. See, I'm rotating. I'm going you. I'm rotating throughout them, right? And this is obviously while we're all clowning around having a great time, but you know there is a method to my madness here. Okay, I think he goes. Yeah, so I GS'd him here because he pulled the whole world. And I used Fear there to kind of run, essentially Fear bought me about 1 or 2 seconds because he had to stop attacking him. I wouldn't suggest doing that unless you know your DPS is going to break the Fear instantly, or if you know where you're going to Fear adds into. I kind of just throw it. I've been experimenting, trying out different things. I have Fear adds to see if it'll save damage. Sorry, I've been up all night. So okay, here's a nice boss fight. So I think we just obliterate these poor things. So okay, so my tank's taking the debuff. I think he popped some cooldowns. Here we go. Here's some nice stuff to heal. As you'll notice, okay. So that was it. So I held the Serenity there, and even though I got hit and failed the mechanic, I still lived. I think I'm just divine hemming for the memes. permitting flash shield. So it's really simple, guys. It's honestly only a couple buttons. I don't suggest casting Prayer of Healing, by the way, if you can help it. Prayer of Healing is a very costly spell, which you should only do to counter mechanics, right? And I guess that's where I could actually increase my priest game a little bit in Mythic Plus. I could use it to counteract large AoE damage that's telegraphed. That's the only time I'd suggest using it. But personally, I find that it's pretty mana inefficient. And most of the time, like I said, I'm always having the flash shield. I'm always having to spam the tank. And there's very few situations where I feel like I can use a AoE spell that hits all 5 people. And it's a very slow spell and one that you kind of want to precast before damage comes out. So I highly suggest weaving that in at some point. I found that heal was basically useless personally. Like, it's just too slow and doesn't get the job done. I know that they buffed heal a little bit recently, and there is a couple Azerite traits for heal, but it's based on how much mana you're missing, I think, so it doesn't seem that good. Like, the flash heal build right now with the Azerite traits just seems like the way to go. You're just trying to get the tank topped up as fast as possible so you can go back to smiting or moving or doing whatever you're doing. I think in these Mythic Pluses, it's all about speed, speed, speed. I don't know about you guys, but I'm basically going to design a build around trying to, plus 110s right now. Like, I'm trying to get into a mode where we can always do the best keys in the fastest time, right? And you're not necessarily needing the most efficient healing. You just need to top people up the fastest. So heal doesn't really have a place right now in the game for me. So maybe we can see what happens in this fight. I want to say so see there. Okay, so my tank wasn't supposed to get that, but he trolled me, and I think they're intentionally trying to get me MC'd. We have a very trolly group. Yeah, they're just trying to troll me. And then our rogue hit the orb on the way out. Yeah, I think our rogue was on some kind of drugs too. Good old Cozy. Okay, let's go and maybe we'll fast forward to the last fight here, and then I'll kind of turn it off and see if I can think of anything else. I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, so he's just getting creamed, right? And there's not much you can do. Right? I threw him a palm to hopefully fish for the renew. I got the renew. Renew only heals for like 10k, so it's kind of a risk. I'm spamming smites to get free flash shields here. Yeah, like, he just gets creamed. Like, that's what happens, right? And so 10k it's an okay amount. It's not the highest HPS, right? But like, you can typically do, if you're spamming single target, like 16, 17k HPS, maybe like 20 if you're really trying, and there's some other things you're healing too. I don't know why I sanctified the ground there. Yeah, this is after me playing all day, by the way, guys. I have been doing Mythic Plus for about 24 hours now, so it's just like doing all different kinds of characters, trying to figure out what I'm going to be playing for Raid, and just seeing how all the healers feel for Mythic Plus. So there's a Surge of Light proc, and so dispel that, get flash heal, and the dungeon is done. And we plus 3 to 2. Oh, it was only a 2. Oh, hey, nice upgrade. I got excited rewatching the video. Okay, so that's basically it. Some last minute things here. Let's see. Yeah, basically just, okay, you just really have to constantly keep the tank as healthy as you can and be really conscious of when your Serenity is coming up. The only thing that you have that's unique to keep the tank up is Guardian Spirit, Serenity, and Flash Healing, spamming his ass to oblivion. Like, that's it. So you just really want to make sure that he's got a lot of mastery built up. He's always topped. That way you can always throw out a palm. Like, Holy Priest feels like if you don't do your homework, you can fall behind very much, right? If the tank isn't constantly topped, then you can't palm. And if you can't palm, then the whole group's going to die. And if you're not constantly spamming the tank, then you're not going to have Serenity up. And if without Serenity, the tank's going to flop instantly because you're not going to have a way to bring him up back to full health. It's like, it's this constant domino effect. So I found myself spamming a full health tank just to get my Serenity back off cooldown, just so I could have it as an oh shit button, because he dropped that fast. So I don't really know how much more to help you guys. I think Holy Priest is one of the weakest single target healers in the game, and after the recent blue post changes, as of let's see, what's today? Today is September the 8th. So after the recent Blue Post changes to the buffs to Resto Shaman and the nerfs to Holy Priest, I think Holy Priest might be the worst single target healers in the game for Mythic Plus, because at least Shamans have mastery. So it's rough. It's rough. You know, you do bring some utility. You have grips. You can master spell things. You can get rid of MCs. You know, you have feathers. You know, there are ways to make up your weaknesses. You can Holy Nova as you know, AoE down things. There's, you know, you have GS. There are some things you can do, yes. But generally, I find I would rank Holy Priest at the bottom of Mythic Plus healers right now. But if you're insistent on playing it, you gotta go with a single target healing build, or else that tank will flop, and it will be your fault. So, good luck, guys. And as always, let's make healing great again. Okay, that's the end of the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Feel free to drop a comment below. Hit me with that like if you want. If you have any questions, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/lightwater. You can also send me an email if you want, if you have any concerns or questions. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, let's make healing great again.